It recognizes our belief in God, our country, not just individuals, our country, our founding fathers codified this in the documents that founded this country. Our reliance, our belief in God, and our reliance upon God. Of that, there's just no debate on that. You may like it, may not like it. Declaration of Independence, we find these truths to be self-evident, that we are endowed by our Creator with certain inalienable rights, of which are life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. It goes on in the Constitution to say we are putting together this Constitution in a preamble to secure the blessings, not only for ourselves, for posterity. And that Constitution followed with a Bill of Rights that enumerated those godly rights given to man, including the very first one, which was a right to believe in God and to express that belief anytime, anywhere, including the public square.
33 million. It's proven to the money investors that people want something to feed their souls, not just their worst desires.
Absolutely.
And
yes, indeed.
This kind of sums up my entire dialogue career on the heat of the night. You ready for this? Okay, this is it. My 7 years on the heat of the night. My dialogue all summarized in this. Get right on it, Chief.
Skinner, but Bubba's my name. I like my iced tea sweet and my women the same. I'm your brown-haired badge here in little old Sparta, but nobody's bigger or tougher or smarter. If you're looking to fight, best not be with me. Gonna be held tight, well now we'll just see. You never know in the heat of the night on TNT. Heat of the night on TNT. Now I don't put on any airs, but then I ain't no slob. Just a redneck boy with a blue-collar job. The ladies I date, they gonna have 'em some fun, 'cause I'm a big hunk of crime fighting son of a gun. So if you're looking to fight, come on up in the ring. You wanna be held tight, just about anything can happen in the heat of the night on TNT. Hubba, 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 heat of the night on TNT. Yeah.
So 5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes! Unbelievable. We are live. We are live.
You're listening to the Alan Autry Show on the best talk in town. Talk Radio 1550 KXEX. Call Alan now. 559-899-1550.
Well, it's not Alan Autry. It's actually Guillermo Moreno. Alan Autry will be back mañana. That is tomorrow. And I asked him if I could, share what he's been up to. But he said tomorrow he's going to tell everybody what he's been up to. So get ready. Alan Autry will be back in the saddle tomorrow. And he'll tell you what he was up to these last couple of days. So I'll leave it up to him. But in his absence, I'll take over the ship, and I know that Alan's army loves Alan, and I guess by virtue, I'm kind of like I get that love, I get to share some of the packages that Alan gets. I think I've never been around an on-air personality that is loved by so many. I mean, it's pretty awesome. I mean, normally us guys in the biz, in the conservative radio biz, we get hate mail. We get postcard hate mails. We get signed up for stupid things like ACLU, Stacey Abrams, like BLM. They sign us up for all that. I think there was one Kane producer, and I think it was from Vote Smart. I have no idea. It's some other liberal organization. So it's nice to just share in some of Alan's glory. I'll take the crumbs. I'll take the progressive. Well, I signed up for that one. I literally signed up for that. Yeah, he's we get the Progressive magazine here because I like to. You got to know what they're thinking. You got to know where they're going. You got to know the garbage that they're spewing. But anyhow, nonetheless, Alan will be back, Manana, and I will be back in the saddle with him again as well. But before we go into any of the topics that I want to discuss here, because I was actually out too, so there's a lot of stuff that I missed that I want to cover. But I think I'm just going to go with the news of the day, which is Brittany Griner. And we'll get to that in just a bit. But for our local audience, I want to remind everyone that in 2 weeks, we're going to be making a couple of big announcements. Our lineup is going to be changing. I'll give you a hint. Nothing's going to happen to Alan. Alan will be same time, same place, everything. Nothing's going to happen to me. Same thing. It's going to have to do with our morning lineup and throughout the day. So I'm really excited about that. So we'll keep our local audience posted and our listeners across the nation that because of Alan, we have nationwide listeners. So we'll keep you all posted with that. All right, let's get on this Brittany Griner thing. And I'm just going to be flat out honest with everyone, as I always am. I'm always honest. But liberals and elitists have this sense of entitlement that they can do whatever they want, wherever they want, whenever they want. They have this mentality that because they are liberal and because they are American liberal, that things are not supposed to apply to them and things should apply differently to them. And because of this, they're going to fail. You know that? And you can apply this in virtually every aspect. If you are a liberal elitist, if you are a liberal progressive wacko, you will fail in life unless you get elected to public office. Then you're going to be successful because then you're going to make a lot of money like most of the progressive liberal politicians have. But if you're not an elected progressive wacko, you're going to fail in life because progressive liberals walk around with this sense of y'all owe me. All right. You all owe me. And you're dirtying the air and you're racist and you all owe me because I've suffered and I've been, this and that. They feel really entitled. Now, Brittany Griner is an elitist. I mean, she's a WNBA basketball player. I mean, she's not an NBA basketball player. So, I mean, she makes maybe, I think it was like somewhere upwards to $250,000 a year. We know that NBA stars make a heck of a lot more than that, which is one of the reasons apparently why she was over there in Russia was to make some extra cash. Isn't it odd that Mr. King James, LeBron, the king of basketball, has so much cash as a male? He's got so much money because the NBA pays him gobs of money as a male NBA star that she, as a female WNBA star, has to make extra cash by going abroad and playing basketball. What's wrong with this picture? Like, does anybody complain about how much money LeBron James makes? And I'll be honest, I really don't care. He's successful. He's able to negotiate contracts. Good for him. I just want to point out to the left that she is over there. She's not over there because she wants to be over there. She's over there because she wants to make some extra cash. That's why she's over there. She claims that she fell in love with the Russian people, blah, blah, blah. But she wants the money. That's why she was over there. But I find it very ironic that LeBron James is over here talking about how this is wrong and how we need to do more. The Biden-Harris administration needs to do more. And I'll actually give the Biden-Harris administration some kudos in this. All right. I know yesterday I was saying Nancy Pelosi did a good thing by going to China. I don't know. Maybe the couple days off have thrown off my equilibrium or something. But LeBron James, hey, you could spare a couple bucks to help the women of the WNBA, right? I guarantee you. How many women play in the WNBA? Maybe like what? 400, 500? I can't even list 2 WNBA teams. Can you? The Phoenix, I don't know. She played for the Phoenix whatevers. Maybe the Washington Women. Is that a WNBA team? I don't know. The Fremont Feminists. Is that who? I'm just saying. The Florida Feminists. Trying to find a place. I don't know any WNBA teams. So LeBron James should, because he cares about Griner so much, and he cares about, he should care about women. Why not give some of your money to the WNBA stars so they don't have to work twice as hard to make a living playing the game. I'm just saying. It's kind of ironic. But let's go back to what I opened with here in the monologue, essentially saying that liberalism and progressivism will lead you to failure. I mean, you look at our schools, you look at anyone that has this ideology, you look at our kids in college today, right? You look, they are progressive. They're not elitist but they're progressive liberals, and they're in college, and they feel that they should be going to school free. You should be paying them $50 an hour to flip burgers, and you should change yourself because they shouldn't change themselves, because whatever they want to be, whenever they want to be, however they want to be, you better acknowledge it and you better change yourself. This sense of entitlement is they're like petty, and no, I'm not. I tell you the way, they're like petty, incessant kids, right? They really are. Like when you're telling the kid, like, hey, I want to be a dinosaur today. Like, okay, fine. All right, I'm a dinosaur. Rawr. And they're walking around like, no, stop. You're weird in public. You're not a dinosaur. I'm T-Rex. Like, no, you're not. You're not no, I mean, they're like children. Like they have this mentality where, no, you need to cater to me. So do I believe that Brittany Griner is a liberal, incessant progressive? I don't know her very well. I don't know much of her politics, but she admitted that she knew that she wasn't supposed to take this contraband into Russia. She was aware. She said she knew about it. They told her not to travel there, and she still did anyway. This is where this elitism comes in. Because she's an NBA or WNBA star, because she's famous, she lives by a different set of rules, as do your politicians that are famous. The rules that apply to them, and this isn't late break, this isn't anything you don't know. There are different rules that apply to different people, okay? When you are an elitist, you don't play by the regular rules. So she knew that. That's who she is. She said, I'm going to sneak it in. It wouldn't surprise me if she's been able to sneak it in multiple times on her trip over there. It wouldn't surprise me at all if this was just the first time she got caught, the first time that the Russians actually cared. Or is it because Putin decided to invade Ukraine? It's absolutely that. I mean, they really don't. Come on, they do take drug charges over there pretty seriously. But she knew what she was doing. She intentionally did it. She knew she was breaking Russian law. Who else breaks laws? Well, the progressive left likes to break a lot of them. They have this, again, it's this sense of entitlement. This law, XYZ, shouldn't apply to me. And this is how we're raising our kids. Brittany Griner is a perfect example right now of, this is such a teachable lesson. When you're not in your own country, which is pretty freaking great, by the way, when you're not in your own country, you kind of need to play by the other country's rules. Full disclosure here. I hate traveling out of the United States. I really do. I hate being in another country that is not this one. I absolutely cannot stand it. And my wife is European, actually. So I'm not like well traveled. And my wife is always like rolls her eyes like, oh my gosh. If I could, I would wear a huge American flag on my chest the entire time. I mean, back in the old days, like 5-6 years ago, those are the old days now. Everything changes so quickly. You remember the Old Navy? And maybe they do. I just don't shop at Old Navy anymore. The Old Navy shirts that used to have the American flag when Old Navy used to be patriotic? I don't know what they're doing. They probably have the rainbow flag now. But since we're talking about the rainbow flag, did you hear who said this? I forgot who said it, but you know what LGBTQ stands for now? Let's get... Oh, man, it's something about let's get Joe Biden out of here. Google it. Hold on. You know what it is?
Let's get Biden to quit.
Let's get Biden to quit. Did you know that?
Or Liberty Guns Beer Trump.
Yeah, I saw that one. Liberty Guns. Let's get Biden to quit. I heard that for the first time yesterday. All right, I don't know how I got off on that tangent. But no, when I travel, I want to wear a big old flag. I cannot stand being out of my... it's just weird. When you go to another country, it is just weird. It's very unsettling. I remember the first country I visited. And no, it wasn't Mexico. And no, for those of you that dislike me, I am an American citizen. My first year on radio, someone said I was illegal. And they were like, you're illegal. No, I'm not. I was born here in Fresno. Go check the records. I'm literally, the hospital is still there. I mean, it's abandoned, but that's where I was born. But the first country I ever visited was actually Egypt. Yeah, Egypt. Muslim-dominated country. It was the most unsettling experience of my entire life. And we were there. I guess I pulled a Brittany Griner. No, I didn't take any cannabis. And it was a mission trip, but we couldn't say we were there to evangelize because it's a Muslim country. And it was just, and they told us before we left, it was in college, and they said, hey, Guillermo, I took my wife and I were dating. I actually got offered 16 camels for my wife. Yeah, 16 camels for my wife. I almost took the deal, and I didn't take the deal. I said, sweetie, if they offer me 17 camels, then you're staying in Egypt. But no, 16 camels for my wife. They also thought I was Egyptian. So I guess I have a very Egyptian face. All right, so let me finish this story. It was very unsettling. They said, Guillermo, in the whole class, when you get there, a couple things. Don't make eye contact with any of the Muslim women, okay? Because they're not supposed to look at men. Most of the Muslim women are going to be they're going to be looking at the ground. If they're caught looking at you, you can get in trouble, and they can get in trouble for looking at you. It's very different. They said, make sure we stick together. I mean, so there was. I knew from the very beginning that as soon as I stepped foot in Cairo, I'm going to have to be on alert. And I was extremely protective of my girlfriend at the time, my wife now. I didn't let her leave my side. But it's different. It's not. This isn't your home. So Brittany Griner, she knew she wasn't supposed to take it. She was aware that it was against the law. She knows that this is not her country. And a little part of me, I do feel bad. I don't want to seem ill-hearted where it's like, yeah, you break the law, damn it. You're going to serve all. She got sentenced to 9.5 years. The max was 10. So she got 6 months of not very nice. Do I feel bad? Of course I do. I couldn't imagine being abroad. And she claimed it was a mistake. She was packing in a hurry. She has a lot of joint pain because she has to work so damn hard because they don't pay her enough. Let's just be real, right? Where are you at, LeBron? She said I was in a hurry. I do feel 9 years. Imagine not seeing a family member or loved one for 9. Do I think she's actually going to serve 9 years? No. We're going to give up some very bad people for her. She's going to come home. All right. Eventually. I don't know how long the Biden administration is going to. And can I say this? No. I was going to say I'm so glad this is happening during a Biden administration, because if this was happening during a Trump administration, this would be the most racist. If this happened on Trump, first of all, if this happened on Trump's watch, it probably wouldn't have happened, right? A, because Russia would have invaded Ukraine, and B, he would have called Putin and said, "Listen, Putin, this is what you're gonna do. You're going to let her go. You love basketball. I love basketball. I'll tell you what. Let's make a deal. You can, it would probably be something that I can't say, like, hey, we're gonna give you something in return. Trump probably would have just kept this out of the news, and he just would have said, hey, just let her go. Come on, let's do this the right way. But no, we're in this situation. She's stuck over there. Biden is president, and it looks like it's now in Putin's hands, because now it's out of the court system. She's gonna start. Well, they're gonna do their own set of appeals. Eventually, it's going to be between Putin and the Biden-Harris administration. And I do need to give credit where credit's due. The Biden-Harris administration has been pretty, like, they're kind of like, well, there goes that Putin again. He just sold that. This is the Putin price hike. That's why she's over there. That's why she's stuck. And they blamed it on Putin. This is his fault. No, you have to be able to take some personal responsibility. Now, I understand the Washington Post was citing that her defense said that, that they actually didn't meet all the elements of the law. Let me tell you, they don't care about the law over there right now. If you're an American, you probably shouldn't go to Russia right now. Just flat. I would not go. You know why? Because, and I've said this many times, we are able to see, and I don't know where it's at. I'll have to ask our traffic guy. But we're able to see where people are listening from online and the TuneIn radio app. So we're able to measure that. And it's worldwide because we can see what countries are listening. And I'm telling you, there's always someone in China listening, and there's always someone in Russia listening. Now, I know they're not paying Igor in China to listen to me, but let me tell you, I guarantee you that if I were to step foot in Russia, with some of the stuff I said, they'd be planting some type of whatever in my suitcase, and I would not be able to come home, and no one would care about me besides Alan's Army. I mean, that's about it. Laura Fisher would care about me. I mean, she would be doing FOIA requests. She would be doing some Liam Nielsen stuff to probably get me out of Russia if I got detained. But I ain't going. You know, I know my limitations. I won't go there. I'm not going to go to where else? I won't go back to Egypt. Definitely won't go to Iran. Yeah, I'm good. Like I definitely won't go to China. Trust me on that. I go to China, you ain't never seen Guillermo Moreno again. You gotta have common sense. And the reason why elitists and liberals like, Brittany, they don't have common sense is because they don't understand global international affairs. And most of our young people don't either. I said the greatest thing that you can give a young adult right now, maybe someone in their high school years, is taking them abroad. We have so many young people in our country that don't realize how good they have it. That's why you have a bunch of them sitting at Starbucks with their $2,000 Apple laptops, saying screw capitalism. And they're at Starbucks and they got purple hair and it's buzzed on the side. And they look like they haven't showered in 4 days. They got an overgrown shirt. Their shoes look like they've been ran through the dumpster, and they actually probably paid like $1,000 for them. But they're the ones that are against capital. I mean, these are the kids that think, and they also believe. Trust me on this one. They also believe that they live in Cuba. Like they are so oppressed. Like, no, sweetie, you're sitting in an air-conditioned Starbucks with the most latest technology, sipping on the latest frou-frou drink. Let me take my frou-frou drink out of the camera shot right there. I wasn't at Starbucks. These are the kids. This is what we're raising. So, of course, when they hear anything from the left, they're going to be like, oh, yeah, no, this place is bad. We're so racist here. Let me tell you what. Racism exists in this country, unfortunately, not in massive numbers. And I've said this many times. But you go to some other countries, you want to talk about racism? Woo-hoo! I really wish that individuals would just, the left of what I'm referring to, would just realize how great this country is. I think one of the biggest regrets that I think we as conservatives would have, I'm all in on Trump, all right? I'm all in on Trump 2024 all the way. And actually, when we come back from break, I want to do a story. Hugh Hewitt interviewed Chris Christie this morning on his radio show, and he said these are the 6 confirmed Republicans that I think are going to be on stage. So I'll tell you about that. But I think one of the greatest things that we have to realize as conservatives, bad about the Trump years. And again, I'm all in. Trump 2024, I'm all in. I was one of his delegates twice over for the first convention. So I'm all in on Trump. But I think one of the biggest failures, and it's not particularly something that he did, it's just something that has been created by the political climate, by the liberal media, conservative media, it is the fact that you have the left now is not patriotic. And they're somehow connecting patriotism with just republicanism or conservatism. That's it. The JFK Democrats, they're patriotic. JFK Democrat. JFK today would be a Republican. They would run him out of the left. Like AOC would be talking about how JFK is white and entitled. Because he's white and he came from a lot of money. He is a white entitled. They would not like JFK. You know that? They would hate JFK with a passion. And RFK, for that matter. Robert Kennedy, which I thought RFK was, I like JFK, who hated communism, by the way. Just a little side note there. I think RFK was such a great Kennedy. But it's different these days. It really is. So anyhow, probably take a... Oh, wait, hold on. Let me make sure I got through all my talking points here. Should appreciate America. Got that. Okay, political pawn. Yeah, so she's over there saying, I understand I'm a political pawn. And she is. She is a political pawn. Do I think we should waste... And it would be, should we give up some very bad hombres? Should we give up 5 very bad hombres to give Brittany Griner? I don't know. I don't know. Even though she's a lefty, even though I feel bad for any American that is stuck abroad. Because you know what? At the end of the day, I'm American. You're American. Or maybe you're not. You're an immigrant, but you love this country. I don't want to see any American suffer. I don't care if it's AOC. I love this country. We're all in it together. Sometimes we feel like we're not. But I would go to bat for a liberal. You know, Terry Sladek told me this a few weeks ago, and he served. I mean, he served our country honorably. And he said, you know, Guillermo, and many military individuals say this, and I've heard it many times. Say, you know, when you're out there, you're in the war zone, or you served in Afghanistan or in Iraq, like, you don't care what your fellow soldier next to you is. He could be a liberal, he could be trained, be whatever. But when it's time, he's got a gun, he knows how to use it. You're in it together. And that's the way I truly feel. Like I was extremely pissed off. I was with Nancy Pelosi's trip. Not because she went. I'm glad she went. I was mad that the Chinese would say, hey, you better not come over here and enter into our airspace, you Speaker Pelosi. Like, whoa, listen. First of all, no one talks about my House Speaker like that. I can talk to her about that. Like, I can make fun of her all day long because I'm an American. She does some stupid stuff, but don't you talk bad about her, all right? I can do it. You can't, Chinese. All right, I can do it. You can't. So I got offended. And when Kevin McCarthy gets the gavel, I'm going to be the same thing. No, you do. And this is where I have this battle with Griner. Like, do I think she needs to learn a lesson? I trust me. She's learned her lesson. She is learner. You ever get in trouble in school? I was a goody two shoe. I got in trouble because I forged my mother's signature once. Yeah, I don't know how I got caught. My friend did it the same day. He literally put white out because he messed up so bad. There was like white out, and then anyhow. We're not gonna talk about my illegalities over the air. That was the only one. That was the only time I got in trouble. But you know, sometimes you see your friend, the punishment just doesn't fit. 9.5 years. And that's a lot of time. A lot of time. She served maybe 5 years. And come on, Guillermo, that's so. You broke the law. Yeah, I'm gonna set on 5. Yeah, no. You got to serve time. You got to send a message to. You got to send a positive message to Americans that, hey, listen, you can't just go and you can't just go and do stuff like that. You got to recognize that this is the best country in the world. Not every other country is like this. Trust me. So you just better shape up. All right. I think I'm gonna check the time. You got to shut me up, producer. You got to. All right. Well, you're listening to the Alan Autry Show. When we come back, Hugh Hewitt, our morning host, had on former Governor Chris Christie. Chris Christie is giving us 6 names, 6 Republican names that are definitely, he believes, going to be on the debate stage. 6 Republicans. I was just hoping for one named Trump. I'll tell you who those 6 are going to be and why they're all going to fail, except one whose name is Trump. We'll be right back here on the Best Talk in Town, Talk Radio 1550, KXEX 559-899-1550, 899-1550. You disagree with All right, I can't see any of the comments coming in. See if I can. Thank you. Proofread. All right, let's see. Breaking news. U.S. condemns China firing missiles near Taiwan. China is warning commercial airlines to avoid airspace near Taiwan. All right, I guess we better talk about that. How much time we got? Minute 10. Okay, let me see if I can pull up. I want to pull up Kirby. How much time? Come on, Kirby. Hey, right now when we come back, can you find Kirby? He's talking right now. Hi. All right, here you go. I can't find it. You know what I'm looking for, right? He's talking right now.
Call Alan now, 559-899-1550.
All right, it looks like the news, the legacy media is, well, CNN doesn't care about it, but Fox News is talking about the escalation of China. White House would like to see China tensions de-escalate. And the producer was like, do you think we're going to go into World War III? Nancy Pelosi is not a good reason to go into World War III. I don't think we will. I'll definitely get like banned in China. I think China's weak, actually. I think they are very weak. Never go to China. I will never go to China. I will not come back. Trust me. I think they are weak. I think they are not as economically. They're very powerful. Don't get me wrong. Militarily, they're pretty powerful, but I don't think they have the stomach for this. Not over Taiwan. You know how badly they want. Well, they claim it's theirs. But I think they're very weak. I have a good friend, who used to be a premier journalist over there in the 90s and beginning of 2000s, like 2002, 2003. One of the premier journalists for an American news agency over there, and so well respected that the Chinese would often give him the first question at a press conference. So back in the day, he was the first American to ask the question in China. Very, very highly knows Mandarin. And I was talking to him because I'm fascinated about China, and I want to make sure that we are always ahead of them. We're number one on the world stage. And I said, what are the Chinese afraid of? Like, what are the Chinese afraid of? Like, what scares the Chinese? Like, what do we got to do? Push comes to shove. What do we got to do? I said, Guillermo, the Chinese are afraid of. They're afraid of one thing. One thing. They are afraid of one thing. I said, yeah, what is it? They're afraid of their own people. They're afraid of their own people. So when I read the articles on how China is just amassed an immense amount of world power, economic power, military power, they're growing by the day. They're beating us in every sector. They're outsmarting us at every turn. I think to myself, well, I believe one day, with technology advancing as quickly as it is, one day the Chinese people will rise up. And I don't believe they're ever going to beat us. But nonetheless, World War III, because of Pelosi going, no, the Chinese, I think the Chinese would have done something by now. They're like Putin, right? They have a big bark, right? A big bark. I don't think I got any bite. I really don't. So But again, I'm not an international policy hawk. I am a hawk, but I'm not sure that that China has the stomach for it. Maybe you disagree with me, but I don't think I think they're actually I think they're weaker than a lot of you know. You don't have to walk around and talk about how powerful you are if you're really powerful. Am I right? So yeah, we'll have to see how this plays out. All right, I want to do the Alex Jones thing. How much time we got? No, we're gonna save the Alex Jones thing for the last. We used to have Alex Jones on the station. We did. We had him right here. When we first did the transition back in 2018, we took Alex Jones. Alex Jones was our, all right, here's our splash into the market. I don't know how long I had him on, but I ended up cutting the contract because he just said some pretty just dumb, and I'll tell you what the comments were later. But I'll get to Alex Jones and his. I do a great Alex Jones impression. Oh, I swear, I never sent those texts. I don't send them. Not a good Alex Jones? Oh, come on. That's totally Alex Jones. Producer's not giving me any credit. All right, let's talk about the candidates that are going to be on the 2024 stage. Whether you like it or not, you are about 4 months away from being free of presidential politics. You know that, right? As soon as the midterm is done, August, September, October, November, yeah. As soon as the midterm is done, hopefully they'll allow us to enjoy the holidays and Christmas. But December, January, it is going to be the presidential race nonstop. So I know you're good, producer. You're good. Let me tell you about this conversation that went down between Hugh Hewitt and Chris Christie. I thought it was a very, very good interview. Here's what Chris Christie told Hugh Hewitt about who's going to run and who's going to be on the debate stage. I have the transcript right here, and I want to read it to you because I think it's extremely telling as to who's going to be on the stage. All right, so here we go. Hugh Hewitt asked Chris Christie, who do you think is going to be on the debate stage? Chris Christie. And Hugh Hewitt asked him, be honest with me. Be honest with me. Who do you think is going to be on that debate stage? Chris Christie. This is what he said, word for word. I have the transcript. Hugh, when push comes to shove, my guess, it'll be somewhere between 6 and 8. Hugh Hewitt thought it was going to be 12, and he goes, no, I think we're going to have about 6 and 8 candidates, Republican candidates. Chris Christie continues, and I think that you'll see people talking about whether the future of the Republican Party is the party of me or the party of us. I disagree with that statement. But he goes on, and that's going to be the decision that we're going to have to make. Hugh Hewitt, you're going to be one of those 6 to 8 people. Who are the other ones you expect to run, Governor? Candor being prized on the Hugh Hewitt show. So Hugh Hewitt said, hey, listen, you're going to be one of the guys on stage. This is what Chris Christie said. Look, I expect that we'll see what I do. Look, I expect that we'll see what I do. He's going to run. I mean, he didn't outright come out and say, you know what? Nah, I ran. I'm good. Chris Christie's going to be on that stage. Chris Christie. He said, look, I expect that we'll see what I do. But what I expect, Vice President Pence will be there, which we kind of knew, and not breaking news there. I expect Secretary of State Pompeo will be there. I'm pretty surprised at that. I never thought Pompeo would do that to Trump. I expect Senator Cruz will be there. And I expect former President Trump will be there. And I expect that current Senator Tom Cotton will be there. Beyond that, I am less convinced of anybody else. So let's just take these one by one, and then we'll talk. Well, no, let's talk about who's not there. And we'll talk about the elephant in the room. Ron DeSantis was not on there. I trust Chris Christie. Chris Christie knows what's going on in the inner circles on who the heck's going to run in 2024. He specifically said, I expect, we'll see what I do. I expect the Vice President Pence will be there. He goes, I expect Pompeo. I expect Cruz. I expect Trump. I expect Tom Cotton. Beyond that, I'm less convinced of anyone else. Ron DeSantis was not in that conversation. Ron DeSantis, I'm after reading this transcript, I am more convinced now that Ron DeSantis doesn't mind being number 2, which would be the smartest thing for him. Nikki Haley's not there. Nikki Haley is also fizzling out quicker than a soda that you opened 2 weeks ago. I mean, that thing is flat. I mean, she is completely flat. Nikki Haley's not going to be there. And anyone beyond that is just not worth mentioning. Here is the list again, and I'll talk. We'll go one by one. Chris Christie, beginning with him. Yeah, well, he's like, we'll see what I do. He's going to run. Chris Christie's going to run. I have no doubt in my mind. Chris Christie, I like him. I do. I think he's got that attitude. He's got that New Jersey type of bravado. I like Chris Christie. I do. It's just he'll never be president. It's never going to be his time. Chris Christie has a lot of things going against him. What was that bridge? The Bridgegate issue in New Jersey. Remember something about the bridge? He does not have, I think, nationwide likability. Chris Christie does not have Chris Christie is going to fizzle out just like he did the first time he ran. So Chris Christie is not a viable candidate. And I wish these guys knew their numbers. Like, just do the numbers. Don't be a Kamala Harris and fail up. If you're at 1% in the polls, nobody wants you. 1% does not equate to 50. All right? Nobody wants you. Nobody likes you. Get over yourself. Don't run. It's not your time. Doesn't mean it will never be your time. I mean, stuff could change, right? Stuff could change. You could be the darling eventually, but Chris Christie is not it. Now, let me get to Mike Pence. Oh, my God. I cannot. This guy, and I thought Kamala Harris had, zero brains. Zero brains. Mike Pence is convincing me every single day that he literally is like Kamala Harris. Just flat out incompetent. Mike Pence, he really believes he could be president. He thinks that he is you know what he thinks? He believes sincerely, because people are telling him. He sincerely believes that people on the right are tired of Trump. And do I think that's a false statement? No, I just don't think it's overwhelming amount of people are tired of Trump. Are people tired of Trump? Yeah, they are. On the right, yeah. If I had to give a percentage, I'd say maybe 15 to 20% of Republicans are tired of Trump. 15 to 20. 80% want the man back. All right? Vice President Pence is convinced that he can get on stage with Trump and look like a calm, collected, smart, presidential appearance that everyone will see him against Trump and say, wow, man, I love a mediocre humdrum candidate with the same establishment responses that we used to hear from establishment Republicans in the 90s and early 2000s. That's what I want. Yep. I'll take the Pinto over the Maserati. Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I don't need all the bells and whistles. No, I'll take the Lemon. Yeah, I'll take that car that doesn't run over the Porsche. Yeah, I think I'm good. I'll take that crappy car. Am I calling, Vice President Mike Pence crappy? Yeah, I am. So, sue me. I don't care. You really can't sue me for that, but he's a public figure, and I can say whatever I want. I'm not going to go into Alex Jones territory and say that Vice Pence is actually not he's an alien. An alien. I'm not going to go off in that territory, but Mike Pence has no reason to be running. Zero. Absolutely no reason to. Mike Pence has got to be the most he is like Romney territory for me. Him and Romney, I think I would rather watch paint dry than listen to Romney or Pence speak. Mike Pence looks like he is forever constipated and refuses to drink Pepto-Bismol. That's what Mike Pence looks like. I don't think he's a bad guy. I like Indiana. I like Indiana. He was in Indiana. I like Indiana. I just don't like him. I do like him. If it's, listen, here's the other thing you got to know. If heaven forbid Mike Pence is the nominee, I will support whoever the nominee is. If it's Mike Pence and Ted Cruz, I will support the ticket. Like, no, if it's Mike Pence and Mitt Romney, I will support it. If that is what we collectively decide. I have a feeling it ain't. All right, but let's get back to Chris Christie's list here. He said himself, Mike Pence. The next one is Secretary of State Mike Pompeo. I like Mike Pompeo a lot. I really do. He and I align on China. We align every foreign policy speech, every foreign policy opinion that Mike Pompeo has. I share about 90% of what he says. I believe in 90% of it. I like Mike Pompeo. I do. But it's like a family fight. You know, you got two uncles battling each other. You know, two uncles that they're just battling. You love them both. I like former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo. I don't think he's electable at this point in time. I just don't. He doesn't have he's going to struggle with what Chris Christie struggles. Their household names ish, but they don't have that name ID. He's not a political family dynasty like the Kennedys or the Bushes or the, help me out here, the Kennedys, Bushes, the Clintons. It's not these guys don't have that. And if you don't have that, you better be famous with something like Trump is. I mean, this is what our presidential politics is now equated to. You should be a darn good politician that has instant name recognition like a DeSantis, or you better be famous. No other way around it. All right. So Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, it's just not his time. And not his time. I think he should be. Everyone except for Mike Pence should be a cabinet position. I think Secretary of State Mike Pompeo should return to Secretary of State under a Trump presidency. Senator Cruz. Chris Christie said today that Senator Cruz will be on that debate stage again. Originally I was a Cruz. Is there a CPAC going on right now? Live CPAC. I did not know that. Producer, can you check if CPAC is going on? I normally get invited to CPAC. They not want me this year? Like what? Why? Is it? Am I too far right? Maybe I'm. I normally know when CPAC's going on. I don't know CPAC. I thought it's at the beginning of the year. I'm sorry. I got sidetracked here. We got the monitors on and some guys talking at CPAC, and I'm like, when did I miss this? I normally get invited to all this. I don't know. Maybe they just don't. Maybe I'm too Trump. Maybe I like the guy too much. Maybe the establishment is trying to do a takeover. All right, so Senator Cruz. Back in 2016 in the Republican primaries, I was a Ted Cruz guy. My first option was Ted Cruz. I think my third option was like Trump. It really was. My first option, I liked Ted Cruz. I thought he was genuine. I still think he is genuine. Ted Cruz will never be president either. Ted Cruz has turned off so many people. I would vote for the guy I'll vote for anybody. I'll even vote for Mike Pence if he's the candidate. But Ted Cruz he's not slated to be. I think he'd be a fantastic president, by the way. I think Senator Cruz would be great. Fantastic. He's just not electable. It's just not in there for him. He is hated. He's made some pretty dumb missteps in his career. Like going to Cancun when like Texas didn't have power. Like, oh, my daughter's really wanting me to go. Like, listen, buddy, you're a United States senator, and your people are losing power. You better sit there and sweat it out. All right, you better get a fan and just sweat it out. I like Ted Cruz though. I really do. I really like Ted Cruz, but his time is past. I think there's a sunset on some of these people. You can only be the fresh, new, cool face for a while. Ted Cruz has expired. So has Marco Rubio. He's not, and I don't mean expired. In some countries, that means you're dead. So no, I don't mean like Ted Cruz is expired. I'm just saying these guys, it's like milk, all right? They're like milk, and not because milk is white, and some of these guys are white. I'm not calling, it's just, there's an expiration date. Trump is like the powdered milk, the powdered stuff. Like, no expiration. You just put water in it and it's good to go, right? But no, he's going to have an expiration date, and I think it's going to be after 2024. If Trump runs again and loses again, his expiration for me would be like, yeah, it's official. Like, he's done. He can't do this again. Last one, Tom Cotton. All right. You don't know who Senator Tom Cotton is. He's a senator out of Arkansas, right? I think senator out of Arkansas, Tom Cotton. Military background, smart, young, good-looking, tall, eloquent. I mean, the guy's got brains. He is a great Republican warrior, but he doesn't have the umph factor. He doesn't have the it factor. You ever watch like a Netflix show or a series on television? You're like, they probably could have got a better actor for that part. Like, they're not. They're just casting was not great. He is a great United States senator. He cannot at this stage in the game. All right, he's very young. I think there's a lot of football to be played. I think he could be, but he just doesn't have the personality at all. And I know I'm going to get heat over this. He's like, he is mundane, like Swalwell is. I know. No, and I like Tom Cotton. I think he's great, but he's mundane. You look at and I'm making that reference to Swalwell when he was on the debate stage. He was kind of like, eh. Tom Cotton has no business running. I hope he does not come out and say he's in 2024. I think that is the biggest mistake of his career. He will forever be. He will expire very shortly after that. I don't believe it. Now, with that said, Chris Christie, Vice President Mike Pence, Secretary Pompeo, Senator Ted Cruz, former President Donald Trump, Tom Cotton, more than likely, according to Chris Christie, are going to be on stage battling it out for 2024. Can I just tell you right now how excited I am? This is going to be like a Royal Rumble. I mean, this is going to be. I mean, Trump is going to Chris. Stop it! You're a failure. Nobody likes you. You eat too much, Chris. And I'm not saying it. Someone told me you eat too much. Trump is going to tear apart Chris Christie. Chris Christie is going to, give him that New Jersey. I mean, talk about how he's mean and this, and they're going to battle. And then you're going to have Mike Pence there. Kid, family, let's get along. We shouldn't be attacking each other. We should be attacking the Biden Harris. No, Mike Pence is going to try to come out and be the kumbaya figure on the debate stage. He's just going to get blasted. Tom Cruise is going to try to rise above it. Tom Cotton. Cruz it's going to be a brawl. It is going to be I'm going to love it. It's going to be great. These guys are going to go, they're going to go for, these debates, let me tell you, they are going to be nonstop. Trump, and I've missed the guy. I really have. You did the promo, producer, for the Dan Bongino show, and on the promo, Dan Bongino interviewed President Trump, about a week ago, 2 weeks ago. And President Trump said, we're begging for oil. We're begging from Venezuela. We're begging from all these countries. We're a bunch of beggars. And I love it. We are. I've missed the guy. I really have. Do I wish he would tone it down a little bit? I wish he would have toned it down in the beginning, but now, hey, you be you. Like, we know what to expect. If he tones it down, I think we're going to be like, who is this guy? Like, what? You're faking it. Come on. Where's the real guy? Come on. Say something. Put it on your Truth Social. Do something. But rest up these next 4 months. Try not to be too politically engaged, because after November, come December of this year, January of next year, it is going to be nonstop. It's going to be presidential politics for an entire year. You are going to get tired. I'm already tired, and we haven't even started. But that's because I talk about this every single day. All right, do I have time for the Alex Jones thing? I got 2 minutes. Man, I got 2. All right, fine. So Alex Jones has got to have the most incompetent counsel. He has the dumbest attorneys. I don't know where he found these guys, but his legal team is absolute garbage. Now, Alex Jones that man beats to his own drum. We had him on the station. He was very difficult to work with. I'll be honest. Alex Jones was very difficult to work with. In the beginning, his show was like, all right, fine. But that man insults virtually everybody, every category. I took him off the air. And full disclosure, I took him off the air because he made a comment about Seventh-day Adventists, which is my faith, being... And I don't know if he said rapists or molesters. Yeah. And I heard it, and I was like, I didn't listen to the full context of what it was. And I at that time, I reached out to his rep, and I was like, hey, man, like, first of all, you guys are hard to work with. Second of all, I think I'm good. I think it's prudent for the station to just take him off. And so I took him off the air. He's for those of you in the radio that don't know the radio biz, that they're normally pretty lengthy contracts when you get a personality on. Alex Jones was a one-pager. Like, most of them are like 30 pages. 1 page for Alex Jones. So it was actually pretty easy to terminate the contract and take Alex Jones off. But yeah, Alex Jones, man. I think 30% of what he says is probably true. The other 70 is just for entertainment value. All right. Well, as Alan Autry says, just do your best and let God do the rest. I'll be in studio tomorrow with Alan Autry, same time, same place, 12 p.m.